Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In the previous lecture, we are discussing about the syphilis, which is a contagious disease, venereal disease. Today we are going to discuss about another type of the contagious disease, that is the malaria. Now the malaria, it is an vector-borne infectious disease which is caused by the protist Plasmodium. It is a serious disease that spreads when you are bitten by a mosquito which is infected by the Plasmodium parasites. When it bites, the mosquito injects the malaria parasites into your bloodstream. Malaria it is common in the tropical areas where it's hot and the humid conditions. Most cases happen in Africa and South Asia. It's rare in the US. With an estimated 216 million cases annually among 3.3 billion people at risk, malaria it is leading cause of the death and the disease worldwide, particularly affecting the children under 5 and the pregnant women. More than 90% of the disease burden is in sub-Saharan Africa, where the climate conditions are favorable for the mosquito vector which is responsible for the transmission of this disease. Now the causative agent of the malaria. As we are discussed earlier, malaria it is caused by a protist, that is the Plasmodium, which is an causative agent of the malaria. It is an unicellular eukaryote which is an obligate parasite. Preferentially we can say that it is an obligate intracellular parasite of the vertebrates and the insects. The life cycle of the Plasmodium species involve the development in a blood-feeding insect host which then injects the parasite into the vertebrate host during a blood meal. Means through the insects. Majorly there is the transmission of this infectious agent within the human body. The parasites grow within the vertebrate body tissue before entering the bloodstream to infect the red blood cells. The ensuing destruction of host red blood cells can result within the malaria. There are the 4 different species of the Plasmodium which are responsible to cause the infection, that is the Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae and the Plasmodium falciparum. Out of these, only the Plasmodium falciparum causes the serious illness while the others are rarely fatal in nature. Now we are switch over to the signs and symptoms of the malaria. The symptoms of malaria, these are begins to appear about 7 to 15 days after the bite of infected female Anopheles mosquito. Means the transmission of this malaria infection it is caused due to the female Anopheles mosquito. The female Anopheles mosquito it is an carrier of the Plasmodium which is an causative agent of the malaria. The symptoms are initiated with fever, headache and the chills. The conventional symptoms of malaria it is an cyclic occurrence of high fever which is followed by the sweating and the trembling which continued for 4 to 6 hours and reoccurs every 2 or 3 days. Means after every 2 or 3 days again there is the fever which is followed by the sweating and the trembling. Again the other common symptoms which are also associated with the malaria, these are includes the vomiting, convulsions, then the lethargy, that is the joint pain, anemia. Preferentially the anemia it is observed at these vector or these pathogens, these are responsible to preferentially affect the RBCs, and these RBCs these are get ruptured due to the growth of this Plasmodium within the RBCs which results within the anemic condition. Then the hemoglobinuria, hepatomegaly, that is the enlargement of the liver, as preferentially they are grow within the liver of the infected person. Then other organs these are also get damaged which are including the eyes and the brain, that is the central nervous system. Now the another important point which is related with this Plasmodium is the life cycle of Plasmodium. Now preferentially there are the 2 important phases within the life cycle of Plasmodium, that is the sexual phase and the asexual phase. Now this Plasmodium which is an causative agent of malaria, it completes its life cycle within the 2 different hosts. That is one it is the female Anopheles mosquito and the another it is the human being. The Plasmodium, as it is an intracellular parasite, it is transmitted through the bite of female Anopheles mosquito within the human body. The sexual life cycle of Plasmodium it is completed within the mosquito midgut, and the asexual life cycle it is completed within the human body. Means for the completion of sexual life cycle, These plasmodium, they will require the insect host, that is the female Anopheles mosquito, and for completion of asexual life cycle they are requiring the human beings, which are the actual host for these organisms. The asexual life cycle in the human body, it is divided into the two stages, that is the pre-erythrocytic stage and the erythrocytic or the blood stage. The pre-erythrocytic stage. Now within this pre-erythrocytic stage, during the mosquito bite, these mosquitoes, they are responsible to insert the sporozoites which are present within their salivary gland into the host skin, and from which they are entered within the bloodstream. They circulate to the liver and invade the hepatocytes, which are the specific type of the cells present within the liver, and differentiate within the hepatocytes. Now this stage, it is known as the pre-erythrocytic stage, means the stage where the plasmodium, that is the causative agent or pathogen, it is not entered within the bloodstream. Before entering within the bloodstream, this stage it is called as the pre-erythrocytic stage. At this time, the infection, it is not apparent clinically, means there is no appearance of any type of the clinical symptoms whenever they are grow within the pre-erythrocytic stage. The second stage within the asexual life cycle of this plasmodium, it includes the erythrocytic stage. After approximately the 1 week, each of the infected liver cell will rupture, releasing as many as the 30,000 of merozoites into the bloodstream when they invade the red blood cells. Here each parasite develops and maturing from rings to the tropozoites to the fully formed mature schizones. And each of the schizones, they are containing 16 to 20 of merozoites over a period of 44 to 72 hours. Eventually the schizones rupture to release the more merozoites into the bloodstream, where they invade a new RBCs and starting a new cycle. This is the erythrocytic or the blood stage of the infection. Is whenever they are enter within the bloodstream, this stage it is considered to be the erythrocytic stage or the blood stage. It is during the rupturing of RBCs and release of the merozoites into the bloodstream that the actual acute clinical symptoms of the malaria, that is which includes the fever, headache and the nausea, these are manifested, means the actual appearance of the clinical symptoms, it is occur during the erythrocytic stage. The severe malaria is caused by the excessive RBC rupture, that is the anemic conditions, these are get developed due to the rupturing of the RBCs, excessive inflammation and the accumulation of infected RBCs in the small blood vessels, leading to the damage to the different organs. A small proportion of the merozoites develops into the male and female gametocytes. Here there is the completion of asexual life cycle of the plasmodium, means within the human body there is completion of this asexual life cycle. The gametocytes in the infected persons are taken up by the biting of mosquitoes and get infected. The mosquitoes which bites the infected person, they get these gametocytes from their bloodstream and they are get infected. Now we are switch over to the second stage within the life cycle of this plasmodium, which is completed within the insect body, that is the female Anopheles mosquito, which is an sexual life cycle. The fertilization of gametocytes, means the gametocytes which are enter from the infected person within the insect body, these gametocytes, these are get fertilized within the gut of the female Anopheles mosquito, where there is the formation of diploid zygote and which transforms into the oocysts. The oocyst forms a large number of haploid sporozoites through the meiosis or the meiotic division. These sporozoites from the midgut, they are migrate towards the salivary glands of the mosquito and are ready to infect the new human host through the biting process. And here there is the completion of the life cycle of the plasmodium. Here within this diagram we can observe the life cycle of this plasmodium, that is whenever the mosquito they bite the human body, they are introducing the sporozoites. These sporozoites, they are replicate within the liver, that is the hepatocytic cells. The schizones, these are get formed. Schizones, they are developed into the merozoite. Then they are enters within the bloodstream. Within the bloodstream, again there is the formation of the more number of the merozoites. Some of the merozoites, these are developed in the gametocyte. Whenever the healthy insects, they are again bite the infected person. These gametocytes, they are enter within these healthy insects and they are transferred within their gut, where there is the fusion of this male and female gametocyte and there is the formation of zygote, which is develops within the oocytes, and the oocytes again responsible for releasing the sporocytes through the meiotic division, which is transferred within the salivary glands of the infected mosquito, and again this mosquito, these are ready to transfer this to the healthy persons. Now we are switch over to the laboratory diagnosis of the malaria. Majorly the diagnosis of this malaria, it is done through the microscopic examination of the blood film. Other useful tests that may be done include the polymerase chain reaction, that is the PCR. This test detects the parasite nucleic acid and identifies the species of malaria parasite. Then the CBC, that is the complete blood count, it is also useful for checking the malaria infection. This checks for the anemia or for evidence for other possible infection, because the anemia, it is the major clinical symptoms within the malaria. A blood glucose test, that is this measures the amount of a type of sugar called the glucose in your blood. Then now we are switch over to the treatment of the malaria. The most common antimalarial drugs, these are including the chloroquine phosphate. The chloroquine, it is the pre-form treatment for the any parasite that is sensitive to the drug. But in the many parts of the world, parasites are resistant to the chloroquine and the drug is no longer an effective treatment. So for those of the parasites which are show the resistance towards the chloroquine, these are treated by the artemisinin based combination therapy, that is the ACT. This artemisinin based combination therapy, it is a combination of 2 or more drugs that work against the malaria parasite in the different ways. This is usually the preferred treatment for the chloroquine resistant malaria pathogens. Other common antimalarial drugs, these are including the atovaquone, proguanil, that is Milanon, then the quinine sulfate, that is the quelaquine, and the doxycycline, and the primaquine phosphate. Now the prevention and control of the malaria. As the malaria, it is a vector-borne infectious disease, so majorly if we are avoiding the development of mosquitoes, it is the major preventing measure, or the use of mosquito nets and the insect repellents to avoid the mosquito bite. Spraying the insecticide and draining the stagnant water where the mosquito lays eggs to avoid the development of the mosquito. Then the mosquito larvae can be controlled by using a biocontrol agent, that is the Gambusia freshwater fish, which is responsible to destroy the eggs of the mosquitoes. So these are the preventive measures or the control measures to control the malaria infection. So it is the information about the malaria. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and also share this video with your friends. Thank you.